Hey guys, welcome to Watercolor Class number 13. In today's class, I will be teaching you how to make mountains. So we have done a lot of mountain landscape paintings before, which were mainly silhouettes with flat washes. But today we will be using one of the techniques of our previous class where we spoke about creating depth in a painting. So today we will be using all those techniques about the depth and we will create a beautiful mountain landscapes. And this is going to be a very nice class because you will be using a lot of mountains in your future paintings. So this is the key to make a perfect mountain. So as we discussed in our previous classes of creating depth, any simple thing is two-dimensional, and to create a depth we have to do proper shading, proper blending, only then we will get the three-dimensional effect, right? So for a mountain, if we do just this is good for flat washes for silhouettes, but when you are really making a depth in a painting or in mountains, you have to create a lot of shadows. And for example, if this is a mountain silhouette and if I make a line like this, do you now see that this is a little pointy towards this side? It gives a three-dimensional effect, right? That means it's a little up. You can create the bumps in the actual mountains with the help of proper shading. Well, this sounds pretty easy when we are doing with pencil or shading with pencil, but when we are coloring this in an actual mountain, the coloring part becomes a little difficult. So I'll show you a lot of techniques today where this process will be simplified for you. All right, so let's go ahead and get our final paper. So I'll be using 300 GSM paper today to make a beautiful mountain painting, and I'll teach you a lot of techniques how to go about this. So let me quickly tape this out. All right, so my paper is all ready, and now let's go ahead and quickly sketch the mountain that we'll be making. All right guys, so my two-dimensional drawing is ready. So now I will give you an understanding of the three-dimension that I'm going to do. So I'm going to do something like this with this. Okay, so I'm going to erase this because I would be directly using my shading technique to create this look. So for the first thing we will do is make the sky. So let's start with clean water. Let's wet the surface area. This was the largest brush, number 11. So I have covered up. All right, the water is spreaded. Now let's quickly take some, let me take some orange. This is the yellowish orange. Okay, orange is done. Let's take the darker one. So we'll go from the lightest to the darkest. So let me just pick up some, let me just mix in a color with some red. I'm mixing some brown. Okay, and this is kind of a pinkish brownish color. We have to quickly do this step, guys, because we don't want the paper to dry up on us. Okay, this part is done. Now let's quickly again put a layer of water and dab off the excess And let's take some brown and put it. So I have just basically placed the colors, let it dry up, and then we will see how it looks. If required, we will put in the second layer on it. Okay, so my paper dried. Let me put in one more layer of color. So for that, I'm just wetting the surface. You don't want the colors to bleed in, so don't scrub it. Just gently apply a thin layer. And I'm putting in some orange. Taking some pink, directly from the palette. And now picking up some brown, the darkest of brown, and putting it here. The best part about watercolor is you only have to place it. Blending will happen automatically, unlike in acrylics. So that is really beautiful and fun to watch. All right, so I've placed all my colors, and now let's wait and let us dry this up. All right, so our sky is done. Now, the first thing we will do is, on this white area, we will be doing one of the blending technique with the help of number 8 brush to start my blending techniques. For that, wet your brush, take some black, and just dry this up. And with the dry brush, dry it very nicely. And now with the help of a dry brush, we will scrub the pages or scrub the area. That will create beautiful lines, and that's going to be our mountain. So scrub it with dry brush, guys. There should be these kind of lines. Take some more black, and with very gentle hands, scrub it. Do you see? It gives us dimensions that this area is a peak or a top point, and then it goes down. So this is how we are going to make the partitions on each mountain. And let's do the same on this third one. Okay, so this is done. So these are supposed to be snow-covered mountains. So we need to put in a base layer and one more layer. So this is just the first layer that we have done. Clean up your brush very thoroughly and take clean water on your brush and very gently, just from bottom, pull this up. Do not scrub it because we don't want the shading to go. Very gently with clean water, just slide down the mountain. Repeat the same step. Remove the excess water. All right, so our mountain is almost done. Now let's take some white acrylic. Well, I have white ink, which is very thin. I have white acrylic. I'll be using white acrylic to create the snow. But before we move there, let's again do one more round of shading. So dry up your brush. Okay, wet it. Mix in some black color and now dry up your brush. Okay, now with the dry brush, let's create some more textures. Make sure your page is wet, not wet, dry. Okay, it's dry now. Let's create those textures. Take some more black. If you want, you can mix in some brown as well, but I just want to keep it monochromatic, so I'm just putting in 2 colors at the moment. It's a night sky. Okay. Dry up your brush and keep making the textures. Okay, so my 3 mountains are done. Now I'm cleaning up my brush and take white acrylic. And now apply some snow. Dry up your brush. Okay, it has to be like this. Do you see how beautiful textures you can see? All right, so our mountains are almost done. So this I did with the help of a 8 number brush. Let me do one thing, clean up your brush. And now let's wet the bottom part. And take some black and apply to the bottom part. Okay. All right, so let it dry now. let it dry now, and then we will move on to the rest of the detailing. Till then, as this is still drying, let me keep a piece of paper, and now let's make some stars. For that, I am taking white ink, all right, clean up your brush immediately. All right, my stars are done, and now I'm taking a number 4 brush, or you can take number 2, whichever fine tip you have. And with that, let's make some trees. For that, I am taking black color, and let's make some tiny faraway trees. They have to be really tiny so that you can figure out how far apart these are. Let's make few here. All right, so the black trees are done. Let's do some ochre color trees. It will also act as a silhouette. Alright guys, so our painting is now done. Let's go ahead and name this and make it yours. So wasn't this pretty easy? Let's quickly go ahead and remove the masking tape. Do this very gently, you don't want to tear it up. Alright, so our beautiful mountain scenery is now ready. I hope that was pretty easy for you to follow. If you have any questions for me, kindly put it down under the comment section and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. And do not forget to check out the playlist for watercolor classes. These are free classes as of now on YouTube, so kindly make use of it and learn the basics and perfect it for life. So thank you very much for joining with me today. Y'all have a wonderful day, guys. Bye-bye.